Hi everyone, it's Christian here from eCreators, and I want to welcome you today to our latest live session, our YouTube live session. And we're talking all about plagiarism and the tools that you might be able to use within Moodle to make this happen. Now, prior to eCreators, I actually worked for Monash University, which is a university here in Melbourne, and plagiarism was an amazing tool, and what we could do with that. So many students were actually copying. It was just the nature of the world that we're living in at the moment. And a lot of students were grabbing stuff from the internet. Some were unaware that they were actually doing it and they were plagiarizing what it actually was. And then others, well, they were doing it for the wrong reasons. And it was great to be able to use different plagiarism tools that were available through Moodle for staff members to be able to check out and see what was actually going on, see how much of that work was actually being plagiarized, maybe where did it come from. And it was sort of things that, if you look back, 5, 10 years ago, you just weren't able to do. And you didn't really know. It would only be if you sort of thought, oh, I think I've seen that elsewhere, or I'm sure a student submitted that last year, that you would actually pick up on this, whereas the detection now is so much better. And that's what we're here to do with you today. We've partnered now with an amazing company called Urkund, and they are specialising in the plagiarism world here. And we're really, really excited to now be their partner and to be able to showcase and share this with you. So I'm just going to pop over here and we'll show you, I'd like to introduce you to our partners, and we'll just get them up on the screen here. So up on the screen here we have Linnea from Urkund. I'd like to welcome you to here today, and we're so great to actually be able to join you in this partnership. So are you able to just tell me about Urkund? What is Urkund? What are you about? And just share a bit of your story with us.
Of course. Thank you so much, Christian, for this introduction.
That's right.
My name is Linnea, and I represent Urkund. We're based in Stockholm, Sweden, so we're quite far away from Australia, where eCreators are based. And I would like actually to share my screen in order to start introducing Urkund and who we are. I also want to introduce, I have a colleague actually with me. His name is Peter, and he is our product manager. And he will be able to answer a couple of questions if you have them afterwards. And as I said, I'm going to share my screen right now. So you might not have heard of Urkund, or you might have heard of Urkund, but for almost 2 decades, Urkund has helped educational organizations to work actively and proactively against plagiarism. The service was originally developed to cater for the needs of a few teachers at a Swedish university. And the word spread at that time, and a larger group of users quickly started to form, and the word spread outside of the university rather quickly also to other countries. And since screening for plagiarism was not very common back then, many universities thought that they did not have a problem with plagiarism until they started to bother checking, actually. And since then, Urkund has grown to a system used at educational organizations in more than 70 countries in the world. So today, Urkund helps 3,000 institutions, more than 3,000 institutions, and we're growing with that number every day. We are present in 70 countries, and we help more than 3 million students to encourage original writing every year. Urkund manages all languages within Unicode, but that is basically all languages. And we can be a part of your institution by the time tomorrow. So who are using Urkund, you might ask? So we are trusted by some of the world's most prolific universities. And any organization or institutions which wants to enhance education and original writing can start using Urkund. We are trusted by more than 3,000 institutions, and we are so happy to work with these institutions to improve our product and to improve and enhance original thinking and address the issue of plagiarism.
That's really wonderful, and thank you so much for giving us a bit of a really, really good sort of bit of understanding through that. Is there a bit of a sample that you might be able to give us to sort of just show our audience as to what you sort of feel the product can do, and just showcase that a little bit for us?
Of course. I can show you how Erkund works in Moodle. eCreators is a Moodle partner, and we have a great integration with Moodle. So I will just switch the screen here.
No worries. And anybody online, just whilst Lena's just switching over her screen there too, if you do have any questions as we're going along here, feel free to type them in the chat box. We do have a little bit of a Q&A session at the very end where you are able to ask any questions, and I'll put them on the list there to make sure that I cover them off if there is anything that pops up into your mind as she's going through. Yeah, back over to you. Thank you.
Right. Yes, so I hope you can see the Moodle environment that I'm currently in right now. And some of you might be very well known with Moodle and how to create assignments and courses for students. And setting up an assignment together with Erkund is extremely simple. So what I've done here is just to set up an assignment just as regularly. There is a name of the assignment, there's a description of the assignment. The only thing that teacher or educator needs to consider when enabling Erkund is this plugin. So I'm going to press here, and this is the only difference actually from setting up an assignment without Erkund. So you need to enable Erkund, yes or no for this assignment, yes, and then you choose a couple of other functionalities. And this is just to simplify the workflow of the teacher. So this integration makes it easy for teachers to use Erkund, but it will not take a lot of time. And then you would save and display this assignment. And I'm just going to jump into the next slide here. I hope you can see the next view here to see how it actually looks like when a student has submitted documents through Moodle and when the teacher received the result. So this is the result from the student who has sent in a document. Hopefully you are a bit familiar with this view. And what happens here is that you get a result from Erkund directly in Moodle as the educator, where you can see the percentage that the submitted documents has. And by clicking on this percentage, you will be directed to a new web browser where you will be able to dig deeper into the Erkund report. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to show you the Erkund report so that you can see how you would actually examine a document that you might believe is plagiarized. And for this case, I would probably want to look into this document since it has a 100% match. I'm going to jump into a new web browser, and here is the Erkund analysis report. I hope you can see it. So this is where the teacher would go to examine more about the document submitted by the student. If you believe that something has happened to the document, if a student has plagiarized, or if you want to know more about sources from the document. So I would just go through quickly how you can interpret this report and work with it. There are many different functionalities. I will show you just briefly. And this is the report where you as an educator would go to learn more about what has happened to the document that has been submitted. So there is general information about the document on the right corner here. There's also a similarity score for this document. There is a 66% similarity score, and you can compare it to the average score that the teacher has received from earlier submitted documents. And you can also see how many pages this document contains. So 3 pages long. Each orange block here represents the match in the text. Each purple block here represents a warning. And a warning can be some kind of text manipulation, which is not plagiarism. And then there are a couple of different workflows from a teacher perspective. you can go to the entire document to view the total text, or to each matching block. I'm going to go into the each matching block and just show you quickly how it looks like. In this view, you have a side-by-side view with the submitted text from the student on the left side and the matching text on the right side, with also where the source comes from. If it is a student assignment, it comes from a journal or a website. After this, teacher can go from match to the next match to work their way through the document to learn more about what has happened to the document. Has plagiarism occurred or not? And then there are a couple of different tabs here for the teacher or the educator to learn more about the document and the sources. If we go to the entire document view, you will see the entire text the student has submitted, and you can read it going from the top to the bottom. And this is just quickly how it looks like. As I said, there are many different functionalities within the report and different ways of working with it. But when developing this analysis report, what we have been considering is the ease of use, and for the teacher to be able to start using Erkun and start working with Erkun without extensive training. So it's quite intuitive. Okay.
That looks really, really good. And I can speak from first-hand experience with these sort of things, is that I've seen how well these have helped and aided teachers. We've been able to track out a lot of different plagiarism types before, and just see what the students are actually getting at. So, but it's been, I can really say to everybody out there listening online, it is a really useful tool, and can just, as you probably have already seen from the information that you can delve out of this, you can see the benefits that it would already have. Potentially to an organisation, and just ensuring that students, even just from a checkpoint, or else even just from a, we've used it in the cases before where students have the ability to, to check their work and that sort of stuff as well. So you can just really get a really good overview about where you're at and what's actually going on with your classes. Now, I do have a couple of questions coming through, which is really, really awesome, and we're not forgetting about them. I'll get to them at the end, so we'll answer all those questions for you there. So thank you for passing them on. Lenny, I was just wondering, would you be able to give us maybe a bit of a case study? Would you be able to share maybe a situation other than what I've been talking about, of a sort of a success story with Erkun?
Of course. So let me share and switch the screen again to, let me see if I can, okay, let me see if I can get it up.
Yeah, you're right.
I actually wanted to just talk a little bit about Murdoch University, which is a customer of ours. They started using Erkun in 2016, but they actually started testing 2014. And Murdoch University we work tight with, and we keep communicating with them every week. And they started using Erkun. They went from a previous provider, a previous vendor, and they went to Erkun. And what they saw was the simplicity of the product and the simplicity of the integration with Moodle, and they really liked the ease of use, and the teachers could get started from day one. We've been working close with them because we have been doing some joint projects with this university, and they have helped us also improve the product. They've helped us to develop the interface that you just saw, and we have a great relationship with them, and they are very happy with the product. But they when they have anything that they believe that we can improve, we discuss it and we look at it. And this is a great example of how we work with our customers, that we really try to create relationship with our customers, and a key account manager keeps the communication. And so this is a typical case where somebody, where an institution has gone from a previous vendor to Erkun, and getting started, and then working together. Do you want to add something, Peter, to the Murdoch case?
Well, I can just say, as you see, they had a very long test period. Murdoch is a very demanding customer, kept on testing for almost 2 years. Murdoch was also one of the most important customers when it came to helping us develop the interface as well.
Wonderful. Yeah, great. Yeah, sensational. Oh, that's great, guys. Thanks for sharing that with us. It's always good to just get a bit of insight, I think, into the people out there in that industry already using it and making, that's real life case studies there that we have going on. All right. Well, we're just about to get into question time, everybody. Feel free, Elena, anytime you want to stop sharing your screen. And I'm just going to jump across. I just want to quickly, just before we do that, everyone, I just want to quickly take you. Sorry, one tick. There we go. I just want to take you quickly just to show you about our upcoming Moodle. So what I'd like to do now is to jump back into Q&A time. So just to go through some of the questions that have been coming up from our audience as we've been going along today, and see if we can answer your questions. So just excuse me whilst I look up and down to make sure I capture all the questions that have actually come through. So one thing that we were having about was, do we have a Chrome plugin? And what are the integration options? Now this has come from Karan Ma, who was online. Just wanting to talk about, what options you have around that, if you'd like to share that with us.
Yeah.
Right. With the Chrome plugin, I trust you mean integration with Google Classroom, or
I'm getting from what I'm understanding, we might just get a bit more, Karan Ma, if you just want to write a little bit more details about what you're talking about, but I'm thinking it's more just actually a plagiarism detection outside of, I know, so that it doesn't necessarily just have to be work submitted through Moodle. Does it have the ability to actually be used for any plagiarism detection?
Yeah. Well, no, we don't have an integration, or we don't have a plugin for Chrome. However, Erkin is possible to use standalone, so you can just go to our webpage. You'll have a personal login and so on. So this will need you to be authenticated with Erkin. It says that the connection is a bit unstable. Could you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. Yeah, I've got you loud and clear. Yes, yep.
Yeah. So we don't have any web browser plugin except for the Google Classroom integration.
Okay. Yep. No, that's okay. That's right. So could you just tell me just a little bit more about that email base? So we can do it standalone, and you are able to sign up for that account, and then like you were saying, so you can actually then be able to use that online on your site.
Yeah, the first version of Erkin was actually completely email based. So you could just send students could just send documents as an attachment from any email client to like a personal, unique email address, Erkin email address of the teacher, and we would generate a report and send it on to the teacher.
Perfect. I reckon that's a really helpful tool as well, and something great for everyone to consider out there also is that it doesn't just have to be Moodle submissions only. You might even want to offer the students to check their submission before they put it in. Maybe they can email it through beforehand, and then they can actually then make the official submission through the Erkin plugin with Moodle. So there's lots of options there. Another question that came through is, just out of interest on this one, is do you have a minimum percentage? So when a student submits their assignment, Linnea, you showed us an example of a 100% assignment there, a score. Is there any sort of examples where you might sort of say, look, if it's only 5%, we sort of go, oh, look, that might just be keywords, or maybe it's the cover sheet that it's picking up? Or is it sort of, would you always say, I will always further investigate 20% and above? Or is there sort of what you might go off at any level there?
There are there are a lot of difference between universities on what they feel should be checked upon further.
Yep.
So we don't have any minimum, so we show down to 1%, like for the whole document.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Wonderful. Okay. Now, what else have I got here? I've also got a question around here. So could you just tell me a little bit about, somebody was just asking about, how does Erkon stand out from the other products that are available out there?
That's a good answer, because I was in Lithuania last week, actually, for the European Network for Academic Integrity. They've been testing 15 systems. They invited 63 different systems. There are actually that many. Wow. 20 responded and wanted to be in the test, and then 15 was tested at the end, because there were a few, because of technical issues, they couldn't test it.
Sure. Yeah.
15 tested. They tested for over a year. Erkon came out as the best system for finding plagiarism.
Oh, wow.
And
wonderful. Wow.
In similar tests, we have been the best system at finding plagiarism since 2010. These tests has been done at the university in Berlin since 2010. And then now these tests have been taken over by ENI, European Network for Academic Integrity.
Wow.
We also, like Linnea said at the beginning, with the number of customers we we actually grew that quite significantly also last week, because we won a tender in India, giving us all the higher education universities in India.
Wow, that's wonderful. It's truly global.
Yeah.
No, that's absolutely wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Sorry. Yeah.
I just wanted to mention the fact that we have great integrations that are non-intrusive, and which means that when we create the integrations with the learning management systems, we want to keep the workflow of the teacher maintained within the LMS. So Erkon works as a kind of background service, and that is also something that is highly appreciated by our users, that Erkon does not disrupt the workflow and actually saves time rather than it takes more time too.
And in Moodle, it's very much so. What you've seen from Linnea's demo is not like a replication of Moodle for us. We're actually integrated in the native assignment app there, just working as background service, receiving the document in the background, providing the report as metadata, and this is then presented by Moodle within the system.
Yeah, wonderful. I see everybody's ears prick up in the audience when you start mentioning about time saving and those sort of things. So that's a very big thing, I think, for all of us in our organisations and companies these days, is about being able to streamline our processes, save time, and I think Erkon plays beautifully into that as well. I think that's a huge one as well. So that's great. Now, I would like to ask, actually, just before I do, just to let everybody out there know, so obviously, as we've discussed, Erkon plugs beautifully into Moodle. You would have seen Linnea was working in the assignment activity, and that drop-down is then available in that activity once we install the plugin. It's really, really quick and easy for us to install them. For anybody who is already a client of ours, we can install that very quickly and easily on your site, so you can be up and running within a matter of minutes, basically. It's really streamlined, really fast forward there. So I'm very happy to help you out with that. And one of the last questions that came through, guys, was just, what does Erkon stand for?
All right. It's actually an old Germanic word, and it means, it doesn't translate well into other languages.
Okay.
But, it means basically unchanged original document, or proof or witness. There's the best translation would probably be deed.
Okay.
Like a legal deed or something that's a proof of something.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Great. Just one more question that just has come through is about, are we able to see the results within Moodle? So I think they're sort of saying about how we visited an external site for the results. Is there a way to see those results directly within Moodle, or do we always need to visit that external site?
All the metadata is sent to Moodle.
Yep.
So this is sent via the API. So this is presented in Moodle. You will see like the significance, the percentage, the overall percentage for the document,
yep.
As well as some data on what we found.
Okay.
To open the actual report that Linnea was demoing to you,
yes,
that will open in a new window.
Sure.
Because if we present it, it could be presented within Moodle as well, but then that means that it needs to conform to the frames of Moodle. So
yeah,
yes, it opens in a new window.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, well, that sort of brings us basically to the end of the questions that we've received. I just wanted to say, if anybody out there is wanting to know a little bit more or wants to know about price and that sort of stuff, we'd love you to email us at edtech, so edtech at ecreators.com.au. If you send us an email to that, we'll be able to then get back to you and we can talk to you all about pricing and anything else like that as well. So if you do want to know more, please shout out. Again, if you want demos, give us a buzz. We can set you up with a demo site, or if you do want to come along to the Moodle Moot, we can see you there. We'll have live demos there that you can actually get your hands on and actually play with right there on the spot as well. So I'd really, really love to thank Erkin and both of you for coming along today and sharing with us your amazing product. We're very, very proud to be partnering with you and to actually be able to showcase this and include this into our feature set as well. So I really appreciate it, and I hope everybody has a great rest of the day.
Thank you so much, Christian.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.